Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Business. Checking out the Tier 7 Premium Cruiser from the United States, the Atlanta. And I hope you enjoyed that intro clip there. I had been sitting on that footage of the New Mexico absolutely wiping out a bunch of Omahas for a little while now. But taking a look at the cruiser here, this is the rust-free skin by AWOL Freedom. And you'll see this thing is just packed to the gills with all these little destroyer cannons. It's a big reason why this ship is one of those that you have to kill it right away. And that's because with the turrets, they fire and they turn fast as hell. They have limited range, of course, but at like 15 plus rounds a minute, especially with the captain skills, you start to really rack up the hits very quickly, and you can overwhelm an enemy's AA defenses and their secondary guns in terms of just knocking them out completely and reducing their effectiveness overall. And that's a huge factor, again, with the HE shells and the fire breathers such as this, the Mogami, the Cleveland, the Des Moines. And I don't want to discount the AP on this. If you get close to, say, an Omaha, an Aoba, or Miyoko even, you can switch right over to AP, and if you're really close, and I hope you're dodging torpedoes or they already launched theirs, and you're in a safe spot, you will shred their health pool. You'll just completely annihilate it. With a 4.5-second reload on, again, with the captain skills, and having these things be as laser accurate as they are, you can just punch right through armor once you get to a certain range. And like the AP is actually very, very good. It's in terms of the velocity of the shells, but almost every situation you'll stick with HE for the most part. It does have a rather short range set of AA defenses, and again, I still don't have my captain's 4-point skill to give me the 20% range on the main cannons or the AA defense, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out which way I want to go with this captain. I think once I get the 4-point skill, then I'll end up with the preventative maintenance here to keep my modules in place and keep this in fighting form for longer. I hope that works out. I still have never tried this. I've not used any of the 5-point skills actually, but it's a fun ship, and time to get on to some gameplay. So this ended up being one of the best matches, actually the best match I've had in the Atlanta so far. Just a lot of everything. So just kind of jumping right into this match because I have a lot of footage for this, as well as some of the other ships that I need to get to today and record. So let's see, we initially started over on the west side over here and kind of moved back over towards the east. Some of the destroyers are in the center here and trying to engage them. This, I will say, despite with the rudder shift, which I think has it's a 6.4 second rudder shift time. It honestly feels really sluggish despite that. It reminds me a lot of the gearing and the Fletcher, which for me personally, I hated those in closed beta because of how they felt. They felt less like a destroyer, more like a light cruiser, and this feels a lot like those. But perhaps I just needed to play the Atlanta to be a bit more accustomed to that type of ship. But it just, I don't know, I never grew accustomed to those two destroyers quite the way that I did with the Benson. I think the Benson is the sweet spot on the US destroyer line, and maybe eventually someday I'll get back to destroyers, but I've been having too much fun with cruisers and battleships since OBT, honestly. There is a Fubuki somewhere in that smoke cloud, and I don't know what happened to him, honestly. I think he may have crashed or something. I mean, you saw some gunfire coming from him a moment ago, but he either disconnected or crashed or something. But he didn't have his engines going here in just a second, as you see. And I was just telling Jason to turn south, since we had the potential of running into a lot of their team, which is not good for ships like ours. But yeah, see, he's not moving or anything, but these shells do have a ridiculous travel time, but honestly, it's the way that it has to be balanced. So I do have the accuracy mod, so that's a big part of getting those shots into the same area, because I can actually target specific areas on a battleship or a cruiser, or be able to have all of my shots fall within hopefully the length of a destroyer to maximize damage. And you'll see that I'm already in the hunt here for this Colorado, and this I don't know what the guy was planning. Maybe he forgot about me or something, because I certainly showed up on his map, and I'm trying to figure out my point of attack here. The bad thing about these torpedoes is that they have, aside from their 4.5 kilometer range, which is practically suicidal, especially in a ship like this, is that it has a really poor arc on the torpedoes. So you have to really bring your ship around and expose a lot of it if you're close to an enemy. And some ships do better in this situation than others. The Atlanta is definitely not one of those ships that fares well when it's about to launch its torps. And send off those torps, and they actually have a pretty good speed at 60, I think it's 65 knots. So that's more Japanese than American. They tend to be pretty slow overall, but you'll see I'm not doing any damage there. I guess this guy, his damage had been saturated in these areas or whatever, so I guess there's a bug now with the Colorado too, but that, or maybe it's the new armor system that they talked about, where the armor is more properly distributed, so smaller caliber HE shells don't penetrate, which I think that's more the case here. But he didn't kill me, so I had to send the torps into his side and end his match. But it's kind of obviously it was a risky move, but what else are you gonna do, right? So you can't have glory without some of that risk. But moving on, we have a Tirpitz, and let's see, there's a few more ships over here actually. You'll notice that was a pretty quick reload on these torpedoes too, so that's definitely one benefit, although chances are you're very unlikely to actually get the chance to fire off more than one set of torpedoes. Generally, if you're in that type of range with any other ship, when using the Atlanta, you're gonna pay for it pretty bad. So the AA does a pretty good job against the equal tier. Beyond that, it's not very good, and managed 3 more torpedo hits into the side of the Tirpitz, and trying to help Jason out after he does an incredible dodge there on the torps, and get the Tirpitz burned down there. So now we're pressing our advantage here, because there's 2 carriers just off to the west, and all they have over here is an Aoba. So I start to take on the Hiryu and switch targets here in just a second. And you will get used to that lead on the Atlanta. It's really easy because you fire so quickly. You'll learn how to adjust far more rapidly. I was going to switch over to the Aoba, but Jason managed to get him, and I'm telling him to focus on the Ranger while I take on the Hiryu, because he has better range, and this carrier is obviously going to die, but he I guess didn't really see my message, so we both take down the Hiryu pretty quickly here. And I gotta say, when you get in a situation where you get the Atlanta near a carrier, oh my god, is it fantastic. It's like just such a hopped up destroyer, you know, in terms of the firepower and everything. It's just a lot of fun to be able to find a target whose attention isn't on you, or who is unable to defend themselves like a carrier, and just lay into them. I mean, the amount of hits that you can get, and the fires that you could start and everything. I mean, this is one of those ships that it's incredibly rewarding to play. You know, in terms of, at least for me, the feedback of it. You know, getting the kills and doing the damage. It just adds up so quickly with this particular ship. And I mean, you will have a lot of situations where you'll only do 20 to 30,000 damage, and that's a decent match. But you know, it's just it's a curious thing, because it has just these small caliber shells and everything. It's basically, again, an oversized destroyer. You really have to be aggressive, but to a point. And you know, you have to really learn how to not expose yourself and how to work together with teammates in a pack. If you're with other cruisers, especially like if you're teamed up with a couple Clevelands and you roll with them, there's pretty much nothing you guys can't do. I mean, granted, they'll probably try to knock you out first because of the fact that, you know, you have limited range, and so you'll be closer to them than the Clevelands would have to be, so they have a better chance of knocking you out, and also because the obvious lack of armor. But that's, I would say that despite the crazy type of rate of fire and like what the ship can actually do, it's surprisingly well balanced for being a premium. I mean, obviously it has the chance to be overpowered in certain situations, but so does every ship. And you know, these guns are just ridiculous, and they get knocked out so easily by everything. I mean, when the last time you played the destroyer, and by the way, I just took a big hit from the Amagi in their cap circle, who, by the way, if you were noticing on the mini-map there a few minutes ago, one of our destroyers rammed him. So you may have seen that in the chat, but pretty awesome moment. But I mean, God, look at this. And I don't even have the extra 2 kilometers of range from the 4-point captain skill. I mean, once you find your lead on the target, I mean, it's just incredible. And oh my God, you have, I swear, if you get this ship, find 2 other people that have this ship, and travel around in the wolf pack, this game will never be the same to you again. It's just, when you have that many cannons firing at the same target, what happens to their health and their modules and stuff is astonishing. Just, and trying to dodge as much as I can here. For some reason, I still have all of my turrets. This is pretty much the only match that at this point, this late in the game, where I've taken a lot of damage, I have still had all of my turrets. I don't know. It's weird how it works. Well, there goes one, right? You can see Kami has the dive bombers coming in. Drop a little bit more of love onto that Pensacola and have him at really low health, and just coming around the island here to finish this off. And with the hang time of these shells, even at close range, you'll definitely have 2 salvos in the air at any given point. You know, you can certainly earn quite a bit with the Atlanta, obviously. I did have the XP flag as well as the credits flag rolling on this. A lot of base XP as well, and about 100,000 damage on this. So I still haven't breached 100,000 damage in the ship, but I've been doing better with it the last few games. And by the way, I just want to mention pretty much all the clips that I have of the Atlanta are on fault line, so you'll have to forgive me. It may kind of blend into itself, but that's just what Matchmaker was giving me. So in this clip, I have a Colorado that I've been absolutely tearing into, and poor guy. And there's a Cleveland with him as well that has been keeping me away from moving in to get the kill. But at this stage of the game, as we're trying to secure the cap, it's important to clear these guys out so we can not have the cap reset at an inopportune time. And I may have been wrong about the damage total for that previous clip, by the way. I can't read it. It just, again, it's too small a window. But I, like I said, I've been doing better with the 70,000-80,000 damage range, and hopefully one day I'll get a 100,000 damage match. I gotta say, this particular moment here felt like sweet justice, though, taking on the Cleveland, and he's not shooting at me, not yet, but just spamming the hell out of a Cleveland with HE. Honestly, it feels like there's something right in the world when that happens. So start racking up a pretty decent combo here, a hit streak, and you can see that now he's got some shells coming in, but he didn't lead them particularly well, but it did knock out one more of my turrets and set me aflame, and now he's got some more shells coming, but you can't stop this. There we go. Fantastic. And this match, I lost 4 turrets, half of my damn turrets, right off the bat, and you can see the arrangement there. It was while I was running away, so 2 of my aft and 2 of my midships turrets were knocked out, and at this point just trying to secure our cap. And there's 2 battleships over here. It's a Fuso and a New Mexico, and let's see, we have our destroyer heading down to their cap to hopefully try to win us the game, because we are running a little low on time here, and I'm using the islands here as best as I can to try to prevent myself from being taken out from being able to defend the cap here. And this New Mexico is certainly annoyed by me, but because I have his attention, my teammate there, the Miyoko, to the south of the cap, is able to get closer and hopefully launch another set of torpedoes or whatever at the enemy Fuso as the New Mexico gets cleared off. And there's the kill. Alright. So the hard part about a premium video is that it costs money. And it, in this instance, costs $41 on the US server. I can't justify that for you. All I can say is I enjoy playing it, and I think it's worthwhile for me to play it because it is a bit of a different play style. It's something that helps shake up the monotony of the various grinds that I do. But for you, it may be different, and maybe this isn't a ship that is something that you really want to be trying out. And the armor forces you to play a particular way. You have to be cautious, and if that's not something you're interested in doing, then there are other ships available, but there's nobody's making you get this, and it's a good idea to watch videos on the premium ships, so if you're not going to buy them, you at least know what to expect, like how people play them, how to potentially destroy them, what their weaknesses are and their shortcomings. And in this respect, I think it's incredibly easy to pick out the Atlanta shortcomings, the range, and the horrible lack of armor. But it is a fantastic destroyer killer. It is the peskiest damn thing to a battleship player. You're screwed if you are a carrier and you find an Atlanta that is close to you. I mean, this thing is dangerous as hell, but it has a lot of vulnerabilities to it, and it's simply about being able to exploit those, and for knowing what they actually are. But all in all, I think that despite some of the shortcomings, this is a really fun ship, and that it is something that I can't suggest to you as far, like, I don't know what your investment of time and money is in the game, so I'm not going to make that determination for you. All I could do is provide you some of the gameplay that I've I've done myself, and hopefully you can make a decision from that. But either way, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you here next time, guys.